Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort so question as if you wore shit.
Hey everyone, Greg Staley here from Diverge Media. Now recently we put out a tweet regarding some grant money around COVID that the government had put out to help communities rebound from the effects of COVID. Now we tweeted at the City of Sarnia and we tweeted at the County of Essex about specifically $750,000 that the County of Essex had received to help rebound from the effects of COVID, and the City of Sarnia received $450,000 to help, quote, rebound from the effects of COVID. And so we wanted to dig into this more and figure out where are our taxpayer dollars going during COVID. Now, you'll know if you've watched Diverge Media from a while, we were on Rebel News, and with Tamara Ugolini, we talked about how basically slap a COVID label on it, and the money will be used for basically any reason. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hits when you just type in this key search word of COVID. And so, but what happened was the City of Sarnia actually, on a tweet that didn't get that much attention, got back to us and told us who to get in touch with, and specifically gave us the budget department of the City of Sarnia to figure out where this was going for. So they gave us an email and we contacted it. And when we contacted it, much to our surprise, they actually gave us the information that was needed to find out where this money was going. It's almost as if somebody within the City of Sarnia wants people to know that just because a COVID label is attached doesn't mean it's really related to COVID, as you'll see from what we show you here in just a few seconds. But if you can, please go to divergemedia.ca to help support more independent journalism like this. You can check out our shop. We have merchandise there, or you can go to our donation page, and we greatly appreciate any help that you can give during these hard times. Now back to the story. Now, when we tweeted at the City of Sarnia, we really weren't expecting this to go anywhere. And really all we said was, hey, Sarnia, how are you going to use the $450,000 you were given through a COVID grant that says it's to help rebound from the effects of COVID-19? Now, it's not like this tweet blew up or did extraordinarily well. In fact, as you'll see, it really doesn't have that many retweets, just 5 retweets and 16 likes. But again, to our surprise, the City of Sarnia actually got back to us. Hello, my name's Greg Staley, and I'm contacting you on behalf of Diverge Media. We recently seen that the City of Sarnia was given $450,000 to rebound from the effects of COVID-19. My questions are as follows. How will the city use these funds to rebound from the effects of COVID-19, and where will it be allocated? Were there any conditions attached to the funding? What were the conditions? All the best, Greg Staley of Diverge Media. The response we got back from the budget department of the City of Sarnia was as follows. Hello, the city made an application for Canada Community Revitalization Funding to modernize the skateboard park at Teskema Park. And then it gave a link to a report from the City Council. Now, when we got into the report from City Council, we were quite frankly shocked at where we seen that the money was going, because I've struggled to find any connection to rebounding from COVID here. You'll have to help me make that connection if you see it. So from the Corporation of the City of Sarnia, Community Services Division, open session report, here they are discussing where the money went. They say in their background, over the last year, city staff from Parks and Facility Operations and Recreation and Leisure Services have worked together to map out plans to reinvest in the Cox Youth Center and the accompanying Teskema Park. Given the park's collection of unique youth-focused recreational assets, high utilization rates, and aging infrastructure. They say on July 23rd of 2021, a CCRF grant application was submitted to support the $600,000 investment for a modernized skate park. This grant would provide 75% of the planned cost, providing an opportunity to have $450,000 covered by the grant. The city would be required to cover the balance of $150,000. The existing skateboard park, the justification they give, they say is roughly 20 years old and was installed utilizing low budget infrastructure that is nearing the end of its life. The design and existing structures are minimal and does not provide a signature space for kids and youth to build broader skateboarding and scooter skills, bolstering confidence, a sense of belonging, and personal growth in this growing sport that recently made its debut at the 2020 Olympics. They say that the modernized skateboard park will include the existing site and that of an existing tennis court that is underutilized and at the end of its life. A new in-ground concrete bowl structure will allow users to have appropriate practice space. You mean social distancing practice space? Is that the real thread we're using here? Are you kidding me? But I digress. They say for skills development and will increase the area to allow more users to take part at the same time. The existing lighting around the facility will also be replaced. Now, on one of the government's websites, it says the following about the CCRF. Canada Community Revitalization Fund. They say the Canada Community Revitalization Fund is a 2-year, $500 million national infrastructure program to revitalize communities across Canada. Not-for-profit organizations, municipalities, and other public institutions and Indigenous communities can apply for funding for projects that aim to revitalize downtown cores and main streets, reinvent outdoor spaces, create green infrastructure, and increase the accessibility of community spaces. Now, on this government website, you see that there is not a single reference to COVID. Put it in, and as you can see, it yields 0 responses. Not a single hit when we put in COVID, which is odd because on another government website about the Canada Community Revitalization Fund, they do spell it out. So was this a program that was, again, adapted, as we've discussed with Rebel News, on how basically everything's being slapped with a COVID label now, and if you want money, just slap COVID on it and you might get money for your project? We're so used to government waste here in Canada that maybe $500 million is just a drop in the hat to you. Perhaps you don't care at all when you hear that $500 million has gone out to a government program. But personally here, as somebody who wants my country to be fiscally responsible so that, things like debt don't soar, inflation doesn't soar because, more dollars chasing less goods. We're watching right now the price of goods just soar as a result of extraordinary amounts of money being spent on who knows what, maybe perhaps more extravagant skate parks are popping up all over the country. But I digress. On this government webpage, rather, it says the following when talking about the Canada Community Revitalization Fund. FedNor has received a high amount of applications for this funding program, and demand significantly exceeds the amount of funding available. Now, this is important to know. They're basically saying, listen, $500 million wasn't enough for how many applicants we had. We had so many applicants that we don't have enough money to give out. Good to know that people are taking notice of all the different money with a COVID label attached that they can try to get their hands on some good projects for their city, for their town, or, I don't know, to rebound from COVID, like a skate park maybe. Now, they give a little bit more background here on the Canada Community Revitalization Fund. The Canada Community Revitalization Fund aims to help communities across Canada build and improve community infrastructure projects so they can rebound from the effects of COVID-19. Then they say there's a national investment of $500 million, and the fund's purpose is to support not-for-profit organizations, municipalities, and other groups, as well as Indigenous communities, to hopefully build new community infrastructure and revitalize existing assets, bring people back to public spaces safely as health measures ease. The thread they're trying to pass off here for slapping a COVID label for the Canada Community Revitalization Fund, CCFR, is that it's going to allow people to social distance at the skate park? Is this really the thread we're going with for 450,000 taxpayer dollars being sent out? I mean, if it's to rebound from COVID, I would hope that we're being a little more stringent with what that actually means. Now, I'm not sure that we can really rebound from COVID by throwing more money at the problem. In fact, I would say the best way for us to rebound from the effects of COVID is for the government to get out of the way, to ease restrictions, to allow businesses to open and operate as they did before. But perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps we need to live like we have been these last 19, 20 months forever. Perhaps the government needs to be in control forever and have their hands on restrictions and pull strings and levers every time cases soar and they need to shut it down. That's why we need to spend even more money, like $600,000, on a skate park revitalization to, rebound from COVID, of course. Now, in a Rebel News interview with Tamara Ugolini, talking about some of what has been happening with COVID funds, we talked about how essentially there is thousands upon thousands of hits when it comes to putting in a COVID search on the grants and contributions that the government hands out, when you can see all the grants and contributions they give out under a certain label. And when it comes to COVID, the government has been slapping that label on everything. And I do mean everything. At the time of that interview, there was over 59,000 search results that would come back to you if you just typed COVID in grants and contributions. So I guess the real question is, are we okay with money being used this way, taxpayer dollars, the dollars of hard-working Canadians being used for any project, essentially a municipality or a community organ? Are we okay with the funds being, are we okay with taxpayer dollars being used, hard-working Canadians' money being used for things like not-for-profit organizations, municipalities, and other community groups to build skate parks and things like this and things of this nature? I mean, just because we slap a COVID label on it doesn't mean that's really a good use of funds. I think we would agree. Perhaps I'm out to lunch. Perhaps you disagree with me. Perhaps you think $600,000 on a revitalized skate park to, quote, rebound from the effects of COVID is a great idea. Leave your comment in the comment section below and check out divergemedia.ca for more work like this. You can also follow us on Facebook at Diverge Media News. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
It ain't that you can't see, cause you can find it, homes, it's that you don't want to. You cope by putting the blinders on. I've been trying to find some kind of way, but I've kind of known that y'all would rather whine and latch to nonsense, cause your mind